the central core of the universe, a set of nuclei working synchronously in the center of the universe. Interconnected structure of the universe is working from resistance to powerful force magnetic fields. I always try to simplify the understanding of what is happening in order to be able to understand what interests me, because everything that happens should be simple if you know the shortest way to understand it. Gravity is an ambiguous definition with different interpretations. My understanding of gravity. Gravity is the behavior of bodies having different masses, located in a force magnetic field, where the greater the mass of a body located in a force magnetic field, the greater gravity, attraction, this body will have. The propagation of light and sound is carried out precisely in this force magnetic field created by the central core of the galaxy. Everywhere around us, there is a force magnetic field of the Milky Way galaxy, and all of us, we are in this force magnetic field. Physics and astrophysics describe the phenomena that take place in this forceful magnetic field inside the galaxy. This means that if the body were not in a force magnetic field, then this body would not have any gravity, regardless of its mass. It follows from this that bodies with gravity are in a force magnetic field. How can it stop that which sets in motion everything that is in our universe, I mean the existence of the central universal core, but which, for many, does not yet exist? Reasoning logically, applying arguments, I will try to convince many that the central core of the universe still exists. From the assumptions, just do not get rid of, if most of them point to reasonable arguments in defense of the existence of the central universal core. Spiral galaxies cannot simply move in the inner space of the universe, even if they are independent and have their own autonomy. According to the logic of what is happening in outer space, something in common must act on them, forcing the galaxies, and all the universal substance, to move in the universal space. In this regard, I want to highlight some my opinions. I have already mentioned this in my previous publications, but again, I decided to recall this and put together my understanding of what is happening in outer space. I believe that in the center of our universe, there is a central core, which, rotating, generates by its rotation a general universal force magnetic field of great power, which sets in motion everything inside the universal substance of the universe, forcing it to rotate in a giant horizontal intra-universal circle. Therefore, due to the centrifugal force arising from this rotation, or, in other words, the inertial force, the universe itself has the shape of an ellipse. And now, if the central core, our universe, rotated faster than it rotates now, then due to the external influence on our universe, the force magnetic field emanating from the parent alpha universe, and all the same centrifugal force arising from the rotation of the internal substance of our universe, then the flattening of our universe would be greater, and perhaps our universe would be flat, to the delight, self-righteous, lovers of everything flat. Why are spiral galaxies flat? Yes, that's why. Because the central cores of spiral galaxies have a colossal superluminal speed of their rotation, creating due to this rotation, the necessary rotating force magnetic fields. Our universe, located in outer space, is affected by an external powerful force magnetic field, which holds our universe within its rounded boundaries. Just as the force magnetic field of the galaxies and solar systems compresses the matter of the planets along their entire circumference, giving them a rounded shape, in the same way, external gravity acts on our universe, which compresses it, collects the universal substance along its entire circumference, giving the universal energy border a rounded shape. The internal force magnetic field that arose due to the rotation of the central core of our universe spreads from the center of our universe to its outskirts, thereby forming its rounded energy boundary at the meeting point with the external force magnetic field emanating from the giant mother, the Alpha universe, in the spatial body of which there are also other universes having elliptical, rounded shapes, of course, if the nuclei of these universes function. All these universes have their central cores that form their own force magnetic fields, and from the confrontation of these force magnetic fields with the external force magnetic field of the parent Alpha universe, all these universes also have their own energy-rounded borders. Within these universes, an interconnected universal gravity exists and operates, the restraining basis of which is a common, for all universes, force magnetic field emanating from the giant central core. Alpha universe. The universe is located in the spatial body of the Alpha universe have their own autonomy, due to the rotation in each of these universes, of their own central core, which creates rotating force magnetic fields inside these universes. In outer space, what is happening can be interconnected. You just need to see the cause of everything that connects together, and then everything can turn out to be logical and understandable, and most importantly, there will be no need to complicate anything, and refer to the Lord, the ways which are inscrutable and incomprehensible, only stubborn and unreasonable, who will stand their ground to the bitter end, vaguely imagining the route of their movement into the future. Everything can be simple and understandable if you build the path of your thoughts along a short path, based on reasonable comparisons of what is happening. As you can guess, the higher mind has a grandiose task of forming various material worlds, maybe in the likeness, and filling the entire universe with their existence. The powerful central core of the universe could cope with this, only the frequency of rotation with which the central core of the universe rotates, and the force that spreads to the entire universe, the magnetic force field emanating from the central core, is insufficient for the formation of the material worlds located in the distant regions of the universe. Therefore, the higher mind and its assistants, using their energy tools, additionally form in the universal space autonomous galaxies with nuclei rotating in vacuum, located in the center of these galaxies, which, rotating at above light speeds, create rounded, rotating galactic force magnetic fields necessary for the formation of material life inside these galaxies, or more precisely, inside the force magnetic fields formed from the rotation of these rotating galactic nuclei, which generate the necessary additional level of the force magnetic field, and a certain stable superluminal frequency necessary for the formation of material worlds with their subsequent, permanent stabilization. Where can the force magnetic field come from and act inside our universe, and at the same time, still have the necessary power, forcing the universal substance to rotate inside in a circle, if what could rotate is the universal substance, for many so far does not yet exist at all? It can be assumed that the frequency of rotation of the central core of the universe does not have such an extreme speed, in comparison with the speeds with which the nuclei rotate in autonomous active spiral galaxies. On the other hand, the great universal central core generates colossal power, which allows it to set in motion everything inside the universal substance, with the help of its powerful force magnetic universal field. Important note: the name, the central core of the universe, is only a conditional representation, because there can be many nuclei operating in the center of the universe. It can be said for sure that they are all synchronized with each other and operate at the same superluminal frequency. Therefore, the nuclei working in the center of the universe, during their joint work, produce the necessary power for the universe, which has a certain size. As the universe expands, the additional power of the central core will be needed accordingly. Therefore, additional cores can be included in the work. Due to this, the stable power of the central core, the universe, is maintained, taking into account its size. See, and here, everything is simple. Since our universe is huge, no matter how powerful the central core of the universe possesses, the necessary power and the necessary speed of rotation of this core will not be enough for it to create the necessary rotating force magnetic field necessary to create material worlds in distant regions, on its universal outskirts. In space, the same physical laws operate, only about many others that exist of the extragalactic influence of the Milky Way galaxy, people living on planet Earth do not yet know. More important, the difficulty lies in the fact that the central core galaxies rotate at superlight speeds, and the deviation of these superlight speeds towards an increase in the frequencies of their rotation, or even worse, the deviation of these superlight speeds towards a decrease, the frequencies of rotation, deceleration, are unacceptable. Why? Because any non-constancy, and even a slight change in the frequencies of rotation, of the central nuclei of galaxies, can lead to negative consequences affecting the rotation of force magnetic fields in the galaxies, and this, in turn, can affect the rotation of planets in the solar systems, and influence the rotation of microparticles around their nuclei, in microworlds, in these galaxies, which will also negatively affect the material worlds, possibly existing on planets where life exists. From the author. In this publication, I was only able to briefly state my small understanding and interpretation of what can happen in outer space, in an interconnected universe structure, working from the opposition of magnetic fields of force. Important note: if all the universes, including our universe, will not have, each of them, their central universal cores, then these universes will also not have borders, and all these universes will exist inside the Alpha universe. They can't either. There will be only one universe, with its incomprehensibly formed border, which has its own rounded shape. If you are demonstrating a model of the universe that has a rounded, elliptical shape, and this already implies an external influence on the universe, and if you do not agree with this, then you must explain and prove why the model of the universe that you are demonstrating, has this form. Without the impact of an external force magnetic field on our universe will then not be able to have its own border, which has a regular rounded shape, flattened at its poles, in the form of an ellipse. The universal nuclei, rotating in the center of these universes, create their own force magnetic fields, which will resist the influence of the external force magnetic field emanating from the Alpha universe, in which these universes, including ours, are located. Thereby, these nuclei, with the help of their forceful magnetic fields, will create their own rounded borders. And since our universe still has a border, there must be a central core of the universe. Therefore, for reasonable people, this information may become an occasion to think about the possibility of the existence of the central core, located exactly in the center of our universe, in the form of a set of nuclei operating synchronously, at the same superluminal frequency. The central core of the universe cannot be located somewhere on the side, or somewhere else, in the spatial body of the universe, except for its central part, because then there will be a disproportionate thickening, in the form of the universe itself, due to the presence of a source that forms powerful force magnetic field, displaced from the center. The central core of the universe can only be located in the center of the spatial body of the universe, and therefore, no matter how great the attractor is, the center of the universe, it cannot be, even if, around it, there is some rotation of some mass of the universal substance. The central core of the universe should be located exactly in the center of the universe, around which everything inside the universal substance rotates. And only in this case, the whole universe will have the correct rounded, elliptical shape. Inside the spatial body, the alpha of the universe, together with our universe, There are the same universes as ours, but others, because the central cores in some of these universes can rotate in the other direction, creating with this rotation, the opposite universal force magnetic fields. And more, most important, perhaps what is happening in outer space can be difficult to understand, but for people who have an expanded mind, who will develop a common joint approach to the formation of a planetary mind here on the planet, and those who in the future will represent this civilization, this planet's, in outer space, then such people will be able to do tasks of any complexity. For the higher mind, it is important that the majority of reasonable people living on this planet identify themselves with the cosmos and join in the common cosmic work for the improvement of the universe. Anatoly Sem, November 9, 2022.